So I'm not even sure exactly where to start with this. I'd say this happened, and I rushed, grabbed my phone, and just came out here. Everybody's asleep, so I came out to the front porch, and there's a storm, and it's awesome. So why not be out here, right? But anyway, um, I'm just recording this, maybe just for myself. I'm thinking I might post it, but I don't even have like a TikTok that I use really, so I might have to make a new one. I don't. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Um, so I was sitting out on the front porch. My wife had already gone up to bed, and we. It was just a crazy storm. It's kind of settling down now, but either way, there was a crazy storm, and I was just. I love a storm, right? And so I was just kind of sitting out here. All the lights were off, just watching the lightning, listening to the thunder. The rain just kept getting harder and harder, and I don't know. I was just kind of praying, right? And nothing profound. I feel like it's never really that profound anyway. But I was just thanking God for everything that He's doing uh, in my life. And then I went back inside and I grabbed my Bible and I wanted to read for a little bit. But as I sat down inside, I don't know, I started to get more aware of all the things that are going on in my life. And there's a lot. And I know that's sort of an understatement for me, for everybody else. Like, there's so much going on. On a macro level and all the way down to a micro level. But yeah, I've got a lot going on. Just so much. And sometimes it feels a little overwhelming. But anyway, and I don't normally do this when I'm reading my Bible. I normally just read. Maybe I look on like the Bible app and look at the verse of the day, and then I kind of go from there, right? Or if I'm reading some other book, or if I see something on Facebook or something, and it references the Bible, like I kind of dig into that a little bit, Or if I can't think of anything else, I'm trying to read it from start to finish. But either way, none of that matters. Today or tonight, I just kind of I just had the Bible, right, and I just held it up like this, and for what felt like a really long time, I just said, God, like, take away my voice, take away my influence, take away any influence that's not from you, take away any voice that's not yours. And God, I don't do this. I don't believe in some genie version of you, but like, point me where I need to go tonight in this book. Just give me, I kept saying, give me a word, give me a word. And I said, I don't know what I need to hear, but I've got a lot going on, and I just need to hear from you tonight, right? And there was just this persistent, that I don't want to say a voice, but a persistent, like, sound, knowledge, not like that, but like knowing. There was a persistent knowing in my head, Habakkuk, 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 and it got louder and louder until that was the clearest thing in my brain. That's all I could think of. And Habakkuk is not a book that I normally would go to, right? And it's like 3 chapters. It's very small. I can tell you where it is in the Bible, but I've probably read it a handful of times at most, and that was always like in church, and it was being spoken about that way. Like, it's not something I've ever looked into on my own. Either way. So Habakkuk. So I'm like, all right. So I open up to Habakkuk, and so Habakkuk was he's one of the prophets. I guess he's considered a minor prophet, but he this book starts with him complaining, and he's saying, how long do I need to cry for help? And that like, why do you not hear me, basically? And the stuff he's complaining about is like way bigger than the stuff I'm concerned about, stressing about, having anxiety about, like getting worked up about in my daily life. Like it's what he's talking about is like war and violence and like way worse things than what I'm dealing with in my personal daily life, right? But either way, he just says like, "Oh Lord, how long shall I cry for help, and you will not hear? Why do you just idly look at wrong? Why are you looking at the things going wrong and just doing nothing, basically?" And then this is what made me. I read through Habakkuk. I read through the whole thing. It's literally only 3 chapters, but this part right here is what made me think I need to record this. So, and you know how like in the Bible, and if you don't know, that's fine. So a lot of times like they will break down sections of the Bible. This isn't the original. Like that's not in the original Hebrew. It doesn't say Habakkuk's complaint in the original Hebrew. That's how it's broken down so that we can kind of reference when we're trying to find something real quick, right? But either way, so that reference point here says the Lord's answer. So this is what God said to Habakkuk. He said, "Look among the nations and see, wonder and be astounded. For I am doing a work in your days that you would not believe if told." I am doing a work in your days that you would not believe if told. And then he goes on and he talks about all these massive things that he's going to do. He's going to judge the other nations because he has been judging his own people, right? But he's going to bring judgment upon these nations that he used to judge his people, right? And there's a lot of history there, and that's not the point. The point is Habakkuk is complaining and saying, "Why aren't you listening? Why aren't you doing anything?" And then God says, "I am doing something, but you wouldn't even believe me if I did tell you what I was doing." Hey, guys, like, that's so... it's a lot, in a good way. It's amazing. And I think tonight, when I was sitting out here the first time, and then when I started to read, or when I was trying to think of what I wanted to read in the Bible, like, it really came flooding in just how many obstacles and frustrations and just not great things are constantly swirling around in my little world right now. And that was exactly what I needed to hear. So, I don't know. I wanted to share that, even if it's just with my future self. Again, I don't even know if this is going to make it onto any of the social media platforms. I don't know. It probably will. But that was huge for me, and I hope it's huge for you. But